Guys, how's it going? And welcome back to the channel. This is my third video in a day. Like, I never normally do this. Obviously, I normally record my videos in advance, but normally I just do one and then maybe one another day and stuff. But yeah, 3 videos in one day. We're banging it out. But today we're here for another tier list video, and a special place in my heart, this one, because we're talking about Resident Evil. Every single game that they at Capcom have made. I think it's Capcom. I think Capcom made all of these, but nevertheless, we're just going to go for like the main title ones, so 1 to 8, and also a few like the Revelation ones and Xcode Veronica and whatnot. So we're going to jump into those as well. We're also going to include the remakes as well of 2 and 3 because those were epic. So yeah, we're going to jump in now, and yeah, this is my Resident Evil tier list. So I think there's only one place we should start, and that is with Resident Evil 4. As you guys know, this was the first game on my channel. This was, I think, my first ever game I ever played, if I'm honest. I saw my dad playing it. I don't even remember what age I was, and I was like, oh my god, this looks awesome. And then obviously, yeah, it was a massive part of my childhood. Obviously, you know, I wasn't 15 at the time as this game was, but for me it is the best Resident Evil game by a country mile. I don't know what it is about it. It was just so simple but so epic. Well, I say simple, it was, the mechanics, everything were quite simple, but just like I just loved it. I just loved the way the zombies drop stuff, the way you collect stuff, you get the Martian, the storyline was a little bit, you know, controversial. It wasn't the best, but everything else was just incredible. And I don't know if I've already touched on it in a previous video to this, but honestly, I really hope they remake it. But I don't want them to remake it as it's like totally unrecognisable. I hope they keep a lot of the same things they have, maybe just change the storyline slightly, but the overall feel of the game, I don't want them to take that away because it was awesome. So yeah, Resident Evil 4 for me, top game. Let's go with the original Resident Evil, because obviously that's what started off everything. And yeah, for me, right, I have a thing to say with these, right? So this might be a little controversial to you hardcore Resident Evil fans, but 1, 2, and 3, I haven't played all the way through, simply because the mechanics obviously back then were the fixed camera angles, and I cannot play games with those types of camera angles. First person game, no problem. Third person game, no problem. Soon as I get given a game with fixed camera angles like that, I really struggle to play it, and then it just becomes unenjoyable for me. But Resident Evil 1 obviously kickstarted off the whole Resident Evil series. I'm going to put it in A. I think it deserves an A. Like I said, I have seen, you know, gameplays of it, and, you know, I've seen people play it and stuff, and I have played these games, just not all the way through, so I do know what they're about and stuff. But yeah, Resident Evil 1, like I said, you know, it's the original game. You can't really go wrong with it, really. But yeah, for me, it's not quite an S because of the fixed camera angles. If they fix that, then it would be better. But yeah, anyway, we'll go with Resident Evil 2 next, because that's obviously, you know, the next game after 1. So for me, Resident Evil 2 is S rank. I've seen a lot of tier list videos in the past of Resident Evil games, and Resident Evil 2 is, in a lot of people's minds, the best game ever. And yeah, I agree. I think it's a massive step up on the first one, and yeah, they just did everything right with number 2, definitely. Resident Evil 3 as well. I think I'm going to put it in A. It wasn't as good as 2, but on the same sort of level, I think, as 1. Obviously, Nemesis, the massive, probably the most liked, well, I say liked, but probably the most favourite villain in the entire series. It's just absolutely epic. So yeah, I'm gonna put the originals up high because they deserve where they, you know, they kicked off the franchise. They have a lot of you know, special memories and everything in people's hearts. So it's worthy of S and A, all 3 of these games. So now we've just done Resident Evil 3. Let's do Resident Evil the remake. Now, I was a massive fan of Resident Evil 2 remake, but Resident Evil 3 remake was it didn't really change a lot from Resident Evil 2, and I think Resident Evil 3 was just a little less enjoyable. So for me, I think I'm going to put it in C, if I'm honest. I don't think it was the best. I saw a lot of reviews of it as well. People were saying more or less the same thing. So yeah, a bit of a shame on that front. But yeah, Resident Evil 3 is still a good game. Don't get me wrong. You know, it's Resident Evil, it's Nemesis with like modern graphics. It's the scariest thing ever. Especially in that first half where he's literally just like chasing you down constantly. It's a nightmare. But no, a very good game nonetheless. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Don't get me wrong. Now let's do Resident Evil 0, because this is another one with the fixed camera angles. I think it's probably in a B worthy. I don't think it's the best game of all. I like the first part of the game when you're on the train. That's all really cool and stuff. But yeah, apart from that, it was an alright game, to be honest. Again, it's hard to say because I haven't played all these games all the way through, so you know, you don't always have that initial experience. So I do apologise if that does annoy you guys, but I still wanted to include it in this list because obviously, you know, it's part of the original series, so you can't not include it really. Code Veronica though was actually a really good game as well. Code Veronica X this is. I played this on the GameCube many years ago, but I'm going to put Code Veronica in A as well. I think it's worthy alongside these two as well. Obviously you're following Claire, and yeah, I think a solid game. Now these three, sorry, not these three, these 7 left that we have here, these are all ones that I've played and I know a lot on, so we'll start with these ones. First of all, we'll start with Revelations. I really liked Revelations. I thought it was a really good game. Quite fun. Again, a little bit arcadey, which I think is a lot of people's issues with 6. But Revelations for me, I think is going to go above 0 in B rank. Like I said, it's not the best game, don't get me wrong. But Revelations for me, I think was a solid game, good fun, and yeah, just have fun with it really. Revelations 2 as well. This was another one that I quite enjoyed, but I think it did beat the first one, so I'm going to put it in A. Yeah, I liked the storyline. I liked some of the things you could do in the game. You could upgrade stuff. You had like the little workbenches as well. I can't remember if Revelations had that or not, but nevertheless, I think Revelations 2 is just as good as well. Now, let's go with Resident Evil 5. This is quite a controversial one. I love Resident Evil 5. I think it's so underrated, and it's very similar to Resident Evil 4 as well, with the mechanics and everything as well. Obviously there's no Marchant in the 5th game, but I don't really know why people didn't like Resident Evil 5 as much. There was a lot of people that were like, oh, this isn't good and everything like that, but I don't know why. I really enjoyed it. I think the storyline was really good. It did go a little bit off course, you know, the more it went on. And again, you could say it was a little bit actiony towards the end as well, which I understand. But again, you know, it can't all be horror, because I feel like that would get boring. And it's nice to have a little bit of like action, cool scenes and whatnot. But sometimes I suppose it can be a little bit ridiculous, especially in 6. But no, I really love Resident Evil 5, and I think again it's one of those games that at the time I was playing Resident Evil 4 and I was really getting into the Resident Evil stuff. And then when Resident Evil 5 came out and we got a PS3, and then I was like, oh my god, I want this game as well. And then, and yeah, that's how it sort of started really. So yeah, Resident Evil 5, controversial, but a very special place in my heart. So next up, I think we'll go for 6, as we'll lead on from 5. 6 is probably the least liked game in the whole entire franchise. I completely understand why, because they took a massive step back from like the original Resident Evil stuff, and they completely went all in with this action and this craziness, and yeah, it was insane. But for me, again, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It had all of the, well, not all of them, but some of the original characters as well, like Leon, Chris, Ada as well, which is really cool, and a few obviously new characters as well. So yeah, it was a little bit over the top, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to put it in A rank. I think it's an awesome game. Like I said, it's probably the one that people don't go back to or hated or just didn't think it was Resident Evil, but I loved it. Next up, we'll go for Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake for me is an S rank. I absolutely loved it. Like I said, it was a massive... It was just so cool for the nostalgia. Massive nostalgia session, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, just a massive nostalgia session, especially for the OG Resident Evil fans. But the game itself was brilliant. Mr. X, again, being like Nemesis and updated graphics, modernized technology was absolutely terrifying. Just hearing the footsteps and the speed that he caught you at was insane. And yeah, just an overall a really, really good game. Again, the way it sort of ended, I didn't really like. I preferred like the police station part and that sort of area of the game. I just didn't really like the surroundings of the final part of the game. But don't get me wrong, fantastic game, and that's why I've put it in up in S rank. Now we've got Resident Evil 7 and Resident Evil Village. Obviously, Village, as you guys know, I've done on my channel. I'm gonna do Resident Evil 7 first. This is a tricky one. This is a really tricky one. This is the hardest one so far. I loved it, but I did see a video on Resident Evil 7 and they were talking about how they loved the game and they really enjoyed it and they like how other people like the game as well, but it's not Resident Evil, if that makes sense. It's, you know, it hasn't got those like classic zombies and stuff. But I think I'm gonna have to put it in A, if I'm honest, because the first half of the game, right up to the Marguerite fight, I think then afterwards it does start going downhill a little bit, but nonetheless, fantastic game. Like those first few moments when you're sat at the table with the Baker family, it's insane. But I really like the story as well of how, you know, the Baker family were actually innocent in all of it. And I love the part where Jack sits down and is talking to Ian in the flashback. Not Ian, Ethan in the flashback, and just explaining that, you know, they're good people and, you know, Evelyn has done this to them. I thought that was a really, really nice twist and a really cool thing as well. So, yeah, but I don't think it quite goes in S, sorry. So I'm going to put it in A, but I'm going to put it ahead of these five. And that leaves us with Village. Village, like I said, I've done on my channel. I did a whole walkthrough on it. If you haven't seen it, I'll leave a link in the description of this video. But I loved it. I think it was better than 7. I think it had more of an enjoyable storyline all the way through. Like I said, 7 started off well and then got worse. But, well, not worse, but it got a little bit downhill. But Resident Evil Village for me is S rank. I really enjoyed it. There's so many iconic parts of it as well. Main one being Lady Dimitrescu as well. Obviously, as soon as the game was announced with the demo and everything and the beta, everyone was just blowing up about her. And she is a really cool character. I love her. I think she's really, really awesome. She's like so creepy, but like sexy, but like it's just weird. And don't call me weird for that, because I've seen a load of people on social media like saying how like fit she is and stuff, so don't come at me for that. But yeah, no, just an awesome game, really cool storyline as well, obviously with Rose coming into the world, so yeah. But the ending as well, the ending was unforgettable, really. It really was. It was a massive turn of events. Like, it was crazy. So, and it's going to be interesting to see how the next game leads on as well. Obviously, we still don't know if we're getting the Resident Evil 4 remake, but I do imagine that's going to be the next game. If it is going to happen, I'm pretty sure it is. I mean, there's so many rumours at the moment that there's going to be a Resident Evil 4 remake, but it will be interesting to see where Resident Evil goes in the direction after Village. So yeah, very excited for the next game. So there we go, guys. That is the end of my Resident Evil tier list video. Like I said, I know there are going to be some controversial ones in there, especially Resident Evil 5 and Village being in S rank, I think. But yeah, again, this is just my opinion. I'm a massive fan of Resident Evil series, so I'd like to think I know what I'm talking about when it comes to these games. But yeah, you know, everyone has a different opinion. I would love to hear yours in the comment section. Let me know where you would put what game, what parts of this one do you agree or disagree. I've just realised as well, I've been wearing these the whole video. I didn't even need to wear them, so that's cool. My last 2 videos I've been wearing them, so it's just kind of just got used to it. But I'll stop waffling now. But no, thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Like I said, if you do want to see more tier list videos or any kind of other tier list videos, just let me know and I'll be sure to do them for you guys. I really hope Capcom are making a Resident Evil 4 remake, because I will be all over that as soon as it comes out. I'll be definitely doing a video on that for my channel. So yeah, I cannot wait if it does come out, and if it doesn't, you know, it's a shame. And I think a lot of people don't want it to be remastered because they don't want the original to get ruined or anything like that, but I understand. But you know, for the hardcore Resident Evil 4 fans, you know, it's got to be done, in my opinion. It just has to be. They've already done 2 and 3, which were good games, so why not Resident Evil 4, you know? If it does fail, I don't think it will ruin the original game. I just think it will make the original game even stand out even more, if anything, you know. So anyway, I'm waffling again. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a thumbs up, guys. Let me know your comments and opinions of this tier list in the comment section. Make sure you subscribe as well, and I will see you all again in the next video, guys. Take care.